Okay, so here's my little video for following this pattern. Oops, it's called Swatch-tastic from Tin Can Knits. It's free on the internet. And for beginners, it might be a little wonky at first. Here, let me take it out of this plastic jazz. It's all shiny. But I like to use these little 3-ring plastic deals to hold my patterns so I can write on them or put stickies or whatever. But just for this demonstration, because it's blinding you with the shininess. Okay, so yeah. Oh, where are my stickies? Somewhere I have a bunch of stickies. Anyway, so first thing we do is read through the whole pattern, and it's not very long. It's um, it's a front page and a back page. So the front page says they expect you to make a 7 to 8 inch across the top. You know, across here, that's supposed to be 7 to 8 inches. You can make whatever size you want. It's no big deal. It's the whole point of this is, choose your own adventure kind of a thing. But that's what they're going with. They're going with 7 to 8 inches, right? You can use any yarn, any needles, but I highly recommend, worsted weight, size 8 needles, right? Middle of the road when you're a beginner and you're just trying to do this as a beginner, right? When you get more advanced, you could use some fancy stuff, whatever. But let's just stick with the worsted size 8 needles, right? So, and your gauge is whatever you need to make the size that you want, right? So, so that's the beginning, right? Then we turn over to the meaty part here. So the first thing to do is cast on one stitch, and you're going to put it on the needle. Hello, why am I dropping things? You're just going to cast on, make your little slip knot, and that is your first stitch. That is your cast on one stitch, and put your slip knot on the needle, right? And then the next row you're going to do, it's KFB. This is very tiny writing, I know, but it's KFB, which stands for knit, front, and back. And so what a knit front and back looks like is you're going to knit into the front of the stitch, right? So here's the front, here's the back. It's kind of out of focus. There we go. So front of the stitch, back of the stitch. See the difference? Front, back, right? So you're going to start by knitting into the front of the stitch, wrap around like you ordinarily would, and go like you're going to pull underneath and pull it off. But instead of pulling it off, pull it out just a little bit, just a scooch, because you need to get around into the back of the stitch, right? So you're going to pull underneath. You're going to pull just a little bit, make it nice and loose so you can get into the back of the stitch. And once you're in the back, wrap around just like you're knitting, pull it underneath the stitch again, and then pull it off. Now you have 2 stitches on the needle. Does that make sense? If not, rewind and do that again. We'll wait. Okay, did you do it again? All right. So now the next part of the instructions say to knit front and back, knit to the end. So, and what that means is they say knit to the end because every time you do this, you're just going to do these 2 rows back and forth, knit front and back, knit front and back, and then knit whatever stitches you have made. And you're increasing 1 stitch every time you do that. And you're going to repeat these rows until you have 7 stitches. So when you knit front and back, and then knit till the end, oh, I'm all wrapped up in here. Come on. So when you knit front and back, so you're going to knit in the front, swing around to the back. Oops, swing around to the back, knit front and back, pull that off, and knit to the end. This is the end. It's just one stitch, but it's the end, so you're just going to knit it regular, like you ordinarily would. Now when you're done with that row, turn it around, and we're going to knit front and back again. So, and let's try it. Let me see if I can do it with my left hand. Not very good with my left hand, but we'll try. So, you're going to knit into the front, pull it out, and just pull a little bit so that you can swing around into the back of the stitch. Knit it again. Oi, pull underneath, and then pull it off. And then knit the rest of the stitches. Right? Knit to the end. And this is the end, is these 2 stitches. Ah, jeez, I just pulled it off. Okay, I'm not good at left-handed knitting. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we knit to the end. So that's 4 stitches. Now we need to get 7 stitches. Right? So, and there's a reason why there's 7 stitches. You'll see in a second. So you knit front and back, knit to the end. That's 5. Turn around, knit front and back. That's 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then here's another tip. When you knit front and back, knit, pull it out a little bit, right? So you've got some slack. And when you go into the back of the stitch, then tighten, right? And then knit, right? That'll give you a nice even tension there. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you have 7 stitches. And look, it's starting to look like the little triangle, right? Okay. So after you do 7 stitches, ooh, sorry, I'm jumping around here. Where do we go? You're going to repeat till you get 7 stitches. Now this is the actual pattern. There's a right side. RS is right side. WS is wrong side. And there's only these 2 rows. You're going to repeat 1 and 2 until you get to where you need to be. And so the front part is going to be knit 3, yarn over, knit to the last 3 stitches, yarn over, and knit 3. You've increased 2 stitches. Then on the wrong side, you're going to knit 3, purl to the last 3 stitches, and then knit 3. So what that looks like, what all that mumbo jumbo means, is you're going to, knit 3, just regular old knits. We're not going to do the knit front and back thing anymore. So you're going to do knit 3, yarn over, and a yarn over looks like this. You're holding on to the yarn and you just put it over the needle, just like that. You're not going to go like this. If you go like that, it makes a mess. It makes this funky weird thing and you're like, wait, what? What you want to happen is you want the yarn over to come from the back, go between the needles, and lay on top of the right hand needle. And then you just keep going and knit into that next stitch, and it makes this nice open thing that lays flat and open. It doesn't look weird, and I mean, it does kind of look weird, but you know, but you can still knit it. The other way, you're like, it'll end in tears, so just don't do that. So, what was I doing? Oh, so we yarned over, and then we knit 1 stitch, and that is the stitch that's before those 3 stitches, where it says knit to the last 3 stitches. So that means you're going to knit till you come to 3 stitches, right? You're going to come along and, oh, look, there's 3 stitches. So the next thing you're going to do is yarn over again, come between the needles, place it on top of the right hand needle, and then knit those 3 stitches. Just regular knit 3 stitches, right? So you're going to have three knits here, 3 knits there, and then these yarn overs with the stitch in the middle. Then you're going to turn around for row 2, and again knit 3 stitches. So the first 3 stitches and the last 3 stitches are always going to be just knit stitches. So you knit 3, and now there's that yarn over. So now we were knitting, yarn was in the back, we have to bring the yarn to the front between the needles. Nothing weird, don't wrap it around, don't do any of that. Just bring it from the back where you were knitting between the needles to the front. And now you're ready to purl. And then you just stick the needle in to that big old floppiness, wrap it around, underneath, and off. And then just keep purling the next stitch. Then you come to the other yarn over, put it in there, wrap around, and off. Now that you're done purling, you're going to go back to knitting. So you're going from the front to the back, and then keep knitting. 1, 2, 3. Those are the 2 rows. So now we're back to the front, and you can see even more. It's looking like a triangle, and you can see these are 3 garter. These are going to be garter stitch rows along here, and these will be garter stitch, and then in here will be stockinette. And let's do the next row. So the next row you'll start to see the stockinette. Stockinette is knit on the front, purl on the back. So you do your 3 stitches, you go from the back to the front and yarn over, creating a new stitch, knit those stitches in the middle till you get to the last 3 stitches, yarn over again, and then knit those 3 stitches. So it's all knit on the front. All the business is knitting on the front, right? So you can start to see the little V's. There they come. And then the next row, again, you're going to knit these 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. You're going to bring the yarn between the needles, but you're not going to wrap it around this time. You're just bringing it into the front to get ready to purl. Wrap around, push off underneath and away, and then purl those middle stitches, right, till we get to that next yarn over. It's a little scary. It's okay, you can do it. Push off. And now we're back to the 3 knit stitches, so just bring your yarn to the back and then knit these 3 stitches. And now you've done 4 rows. I mean, it's a 2-row repeat, but we've done enough so you can see how it's starting to build this little triangle with little holes on the side. So there'll be garter stitch here, little holes, stockinette stitch, more little holes, and garter stitch there, and it'll just grow like that. And then the pattern, this pattern, I know it's free, it's easy, whatever. So it's a little convoluted. So it says to repeat rows 1 and 2, right? So here, oops, where am I? Where's my finger? Oh, so repeat rows, this camera, sorry. Repeat rows 1 and 2 until the stitch count on the stockinette section between the 3 garter stitches is approximately 1.5 times your desired gauge. So what that means, there's a lot of words. So basically what that means is you're going to knit until you get to, see how, I don't know if you can see in this is a black and white picture, but see how there's like garter stitch on the top of your triangle? you're going to knit. You're going to keep doing those two rows where you knit with the yarn overs on the front and then just purl in the back. You're going to keep doing that back and forth till you get to about an inch or an inch and a half, whatever you decide, before you want the triangle to be finished. And then you stop doing those 2 rows and you just knit across the top. So it will make a garter stitch edge that will match the garter stitch here and the garter stitch there. So it'll be a nice triangle. Does that make sense? It's a little loosey-goosey with the wordage here. I don't know. And that's it. So they have further instructions for, like, if you want to do lace or if you want to do color work. You know, this is, you know, the basic structure is here. Just, you know, when you get to the meaty part, you do your lace, you do your color work, whatever, you can add it in. And that's it. And then it says, you know, weave in your ends and block it or do whatever you want to do with it, and or not, and make little buntings out of it, or keep it. Some people will keep these in like a 3-ring binder, wherever my, I don't know where my 3-ring binder thing went, and so you can have like, oh, with this particular yarn and this particular needles, I'm getting such and such gauge, or I don't like this yarn is slippery, this yarn is tacky, or I tried it with these needles and these needles suck, or these needles are great, or whatever notations you need to write down about this, you can keep track by making lots of different swatches. And it's just an interesting way to swatch. I mean, it's just a thing. I don't know. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do. It's not like you need to do this, but it gives you a few more skills. It takes your beginner skills up a notch by doing the knit front and back, by doing the yarn overs, by doing little shaping. It gives your beginning skills more oomph. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. I hope that's helpful. See you around.